Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, check out what I've just woken up to. I've got like the person who doesn't spend any money in the game pack. I've never had it. I'm going to pick that bad boy up. That is as good a value as you get for sacreds in this game, like by a mile. I don't know why I've got that, but I will take it. So we're going to do a video today on King Garog. Maybe everyone's getting that pack. King Garog is my new legendary champion. He looks absolutely sweet. He looks incredible. Best looking champion in the game, I think, for me. Absolutely like menacing with these blades. Look at that. Fiery blades. I got him in the 2 times this weekend, and I was really excited to get him. Now, I did some playtesting on him last night on my stream. I had him in my hardest hitting savage gear and crit damage gear, and he was built like an absolute beast. And I've got to be honest, I was disappointed with him. And one of the guys on stream said to me, can you dull down his stats and see if for the arena he's actually worthwhile? Because for general content, he was average at best. And we're going to show that first. I'm going to show it first in this build, and then I'm going to show you him in the arena, where I actually do think most people that get him will use him in the arena. I think that's his best spot. But let's talk through what he can do. So he's got an A1, which hits twice. Okay, that's fine. 35% chance to stun. Doesn't book any higher than that. The chance increases to 50 if the target's turn meter is equal or below 50%. So it's kind of like a nice pick on one person in the enemy team and try and take them out of the game ability. Certainly if you're going to use them in somewhere like Faction Wars or Doom Tower, it's literally just a case of, can I take someone out of the game? You get 20% more damage out of books, and this is like basically times in all of your multipliers by 1.2, which is a lot. It's a lot, but unfortunately, you'll see a bit in a while. For content, it's actually not doing that much. For his A2, 4-hitter. We love a 4-hitter. Each hit, or each critical hit, sorry, has got a 50% chance of decreasing the cooldown of Goremaker, which is his 3rd skill, by a turn. So 4 hits, and each crit has got a 50% chance. Pretty much, if you go A3, A2, and you've booked this champion, you should be back to your A3 again. Yeah, 9 times out of 10. You know, it's a really good chance of just getting this one back. And the A3 is an AoE hit, ignores 20% of each target's defense, love it. Will ignore a further 5% of each target's defense for each buff they've got. Now, I thought when I read this kit and I looked at his skills, I thought Doom Tower and Faction Wars, he would be amazing. Basically because of this skill. Ignoring defense when they've got buffs on. Ignore defense is the strongest type of ability in the game in terms of pure damage output. So originally I had him in Savage gear. I've taken him down to kind of like bare bones gear. I am just going to crit cap him because of that A2. But I've taken his gear right down to hopefully what's more an average person's gear. Probably you'd call me out on it, but I think it is more average person's gear level. And we're going to see what this can do. Because this is really why you're using him. Ignoring defense, smacking people with a load of buffs. You know, if you're against an arena team and they've got 2 or 3 buffs on already, he comes in. Hopefully he's going to slam them down dead. He's got this passive as well, which is really cool. We don't really have content in the game at this moment in time that properly enables this passive. So if we had like a waves type of scenario where it's like, see how far you can get through different waves, and you know it's like endless dungeon, then this would be the best passive in the game. He gets additional speed and crit damage. And crit damage is a straight multiplier in this instance. That's the way the game codes it. So 7% is like times in all your damage by 1.07 in the way the game codes it. So it's huge. But you have to kill a bunch of people first. You've got to kill 5 people to get that going. And there's not really a lot of content where you're going to kill 5 people and get it going. Whenever an enemy champion is revived, fill this champion's turn meter by 30%. Okay, that's kind of cool. For each revived enemy, then place a 50% for each revived enemy. Oh, for each revived enemy on the turn meter. Okay. Then place a 50% increase attack and crit damage buff on this guy. So all of this kit stinks of arena, apart from this part of his kit. You kind of need to, it almost needs to be against a team that's constantly reviving champions in the arena, and you're managing to keep him alive. That's what it feels like, but he's not the easiest to keep alive with a 947 defense and a need to put out damage himself. So in terms of masteries then, what have I done? Let's just get me out of the way a sec. I have put him in Helm Smasher. I've put him in the highest damage dealing masteries for a kind of arena nuker. So we've got Heart of Glory, more damage when full health. Ruthless Ambush, more damage first hit. Bring It Down, more damage when you're hitting against people with higher HP, which you probably will have in this guy. I've got Stoked Fury in case we get debuffed, and I've got Helm Smasher for damage. So I guess let's take him for a spin in other places first, just so you can see how I did gear him for the second round of kind of damage. I've gone crit rate, attack percentage, speed. I'm just going to change these boots to give myself enough crit to at least be crit capped. So let's do that quick. Bit over, but we can do it. There we go. So random pieces of gear thrown together. 101 crit rate, 4.8k attack, 195 crit damage. So yeah, so we've got speed boots, attack percent, chest, crit rate gloves, attack ring, crit damage amulet, attack banner, and then I was just looking for speed and crit really on these other pieces. But it was very different. Like, I did have him in full savage, and it was a little bit disappointing. So we're going to run him through some of the content first. Then I'm going to take him to the arena where he actually shines. Okay then, let's try Ice Golem first. I'm going to run stage 19 because he's the weak affinity to 20. And I guess most people won't use him on 20. You could use him on 20. It's just going to get a load of weak hits. So I've got a decreased defense champion. I've got someone for block revive and some crowd control, speed, healing, and a defensive unit. Let's see what we can do. So the idea here is, let's just slow it down a touch. We drop defense. I've actually all got reflect damage on. That's nasty. Okay, so he's killed himself. He's killed himself straight out. Since when does level 19 have all of this reflect damage? Is that a new thing? Obviously don't go here very often. Let's try 18. That is nasty. Oh no, that's not going to work. Let's just try 20. Oh, the joys, the joys. Drop defense. Slide down. What's he going to do? So he's going in with his A2 instead of his A3. Weirdly. Even though they've all got drop defense, he doesn't want to use his A3 nuke. He's going to use it now. There we go. 30k on, basically 30k on anyone who has got decreased defense on, if he got a crit off. So many weak hits. This is why I wouldn't run him on stage 20 normally. But really, like, if we think about what he's got in his kit, a stun, not going to work on the boss, but could work on one of the ads. And then after that, it's just pure damage. And pure damage doesn't really have a place in these type of dungeons unless it's crazy damage. And he's way, way like beyond, like he's nowhere near crazy damage. Nowhere near it. But I guess for progression, if you guys have not got many champions that can do hard hits, then maybe he is coming in and doing a bit of work. Like, you know, multi-hitter, 4-hitter, which is hitting for 15k a pop. Pretty good, but you can see he's so squishy to get there that he's really not that useful in Ice Golem. So average to bad in Ice Golem. The place where I guess he's going to get some sort of utility just because of the sheer number of hits that he's doing is going to be Finite's. So I've wrapped him into this team here. Maybe I should just pull out some of the damage. Otherwise it's a bit too easy. So we do something like this. I don't have any sort of healing, so I could do some sort of healer in there. Let's do that again. So in this sort of situation, if you can get him to the finite, who goes there? That wasn't AoE straight away, 40 odd K. So when he's the neutral affinity, maybe he does his AoE. When he's negative affinity, maybe he doesn't. I'm not entirely sure how that worked with beforehand. But see here, decreased cooldown twice. So he's not quite back to his A3 yet, but he's not far off it. Like one more ability and then he's going for it. Gets his stun off because she was low. Turn meter. So I think in Ice Golem, he's Finite. So I think he's actually good. I think he's actually good here as a kind of good damage dealer. There's that damage again, 40k. I mean, compare it to Cold Heart, the rare, who's just done an AoE hit, which is not her big ability. She's just hit everyone for 30k. He's just hit everyone on his big hitter, which ignores defense, for 40k. That's the kind of, he needs a buff already. He needs a buff. He's not hitting hard enough. For what he does, he's not in hard enough in like general wave content. And he's killed a bunch of people now, so he's also got his multiplier scaling up through his passive. And even then, 12 to 16k a hit, 4 hitter, you're talking like 50, 60k worth of damage. If you didn't see yet the video I did yesterday for Ogrin Jailer, he's hitting for like 200k as an unknown rare. So we're going here. He doesn't use his A3 at all on the Finite boss. I'm not really sure that I like that because actually it's meant to be as like ignore defense big hitter. But still, I mean, you get multi-hits off of his A2, so I guess it's kind of nice. But either way, it's just a bit lackluster. Double hit on his A1, double hit on his A1, 4 hitter on his A2 means that you're going to get through this shield pretty damn fast, which is good, actually. That's definitely a massive positive about him for Finite. He hits reasonably okay, and he'll cut through that shield pretty well. So, with this sort of team here, which I think is a kind of, if you've got him, it's a kind of realistic team for most people to be able to run. You're going to get yourself through that shield pretty quick, and then you're just relying on your Heart Seekers whenever they can come off. So we're going to let this play through, and then I'm going to take him into the content where I actually thought he was going to be best, which is Doom Tower. So I'll let's phase out, and then we'll go to Doom Tower. Fairness. Oh, actually, I'm going to let it play right the way through because I'd like to see how his damage compares to the others in this setup. Again, like double hits, it's 20 odd K. You've got a high Katoon hitting for 8k, and she's got nothing in her kit. So what's he done here? He's done 860. Grush, who's not in any sort of crazy gear, 948. More damage from Grush with his couple of AoE hits. Cold Heart obviously is going to do more. Stagnite does nothing. And we get a binned off piece. So I feel like that's his best dungeon, and he's kind of okay to average there. If we look at Doom Tower, now Doom Tower is where I thought he was going to be best. And in fairness, I'm running him in a strong team. So we've got a lot of control, decreased defense and weaken. I've got an increased attack champion in Duchess and a protector for him. Perhaps I won't run this one because of all of the... Oh no, we'll do it anyway. We'll do it anyway. And then we've got a couple of revive champions to get him back into the game if he dies. So because as he kills people over time, he gains more damage, and because he has got the ability to ignore defense, and defense ramps up very quickly, very high in Doom Tower, I figured this would be the best spot for him. But you can see already like how quickly he's getting low. It's actually been feared, which is not ideal. He might lose his turn. I know we've got cleansed off. Good stuff, Raglin. I mean, he's in like a big boy team here. Hit for 8k's odds. Again, we get feared. It's actually a nasty setup for him to play against. But it's the reality, this is what we're facing now. And if you've got him and you don't have... I mean, luckily I've got a bunch of good champions to throw with him even, but he just doesn't seem to be doing his AoE that often. Maybe it's just when he sees negative affinity, he doesn't like to do it. But now we've got a provoke up, so he's only going to A1 anyway. Get a cleanse off. But I mean, if you compare it to other legendaries are blowing this stuff up, and he's hitting for like 8 and 10Ks. Now I know I've not got him geared like a crazy man, but still, it's fairly weak source. So for Faction Wars and there you go, like 20 odd K AoE, it's nothing. It's nothing compared to other champions out there. So for Faction Wars, Doom Tower, and general dungeon content, the only place that I feel like he's actually properly good is Finite. Finite's the only one so far. But where we did have a bit of a breakthrough yesterday when I was testing him is in the arena. So in the arena, I think is really his place to shine. It's his place to go and be worthwhile. I was running it in 3 versus 3, so you can see it against proper teams. So this is all like I'm at gold 3, moving up to gold 4, in with the big boys of gold 3. I put him in. What team was I running him in? Not this team. This team. So I've got somebody to try and freeze them up if they get a go. I've got somebody to drop defense and weaken. I've got someone to increase my attack and protect me, hide me. And then we see how we do. And what was quite pleasing, after all of that dungeon test, I really thought we might be in trouble in terms of like, can he play anywhere? But we put the veil on. Let's weaken these guys. Lydia's getting wrecked. Here we go. So A3, just slow it down, suddenly comes in with the nukes. Like 60 to 80k. Yesterday I had it over 100k in places. He's got some utility in arena to come in as your AoE nuker. And bearing in mind that the gear he's in right now is not crazy. It's okay. I think for most people that use him, that's where you're going to use him. He might be in one of your 3v3 teams rather than your like main team, but he is mid-tier arena nuker. That's the best spot for him. I haven't found anywhere else that I would choose to run him kind of like consistently. So there you go, guys. Pretty disappointing, I'd say. At least there is a spot in the game that he can be used, but it is, yeah, pretty disappointing to not have kind of like more utility for him. Who said Rotus was no good anymore? It's still good. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it's kind of shown you where he can be used, but honestly, it feels like he's already in the need to buff bin to me. And I'm really disappointed with that. He looks freaking awesome. Anyway, guys, I've been Hell Hades. That's King Garog. I'll see you later.